Welcome back, everybody. Today is 14th of October. Now it's 6 o'clock in the evening, Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze, and this is new episode of Headlines, short summary of the news that I will talk about in more detail during the final news update of the day on my Patreon and Boosty pages. And if you are interested in more news, I hope you will consider to join our community on Patreon or Boosty. Subscription on my Patreon starts from $5. And well, let's go through some headlines now. And first of all, this report from TASS news agency that Russian armed forces liberated settlement of Livadne in Zaporozhye sector of the front line. Vzгляд News Pro is reporting with the headline that Russian armed forces are on outskirts of Suja in Kursk salient as a result of further offensive operations during this counter-terrorist operation. TASS news agency reporting with the headline that Abdialaudinov, Major General Abdialaudinov, head of Akhmat Special Forces, stated that about 50% of Kursk salient that was occupied temporarily by Kyiv regime during the initial stages of the invasion into this region by Kyiv regime forces and NATO mercenaries is liberated now and are under full Russian control. Also, RIA Novosti's report that according to pro-Russian underground or pro-Russian partisans in Kyiv-controlled territory today, as a result of Russian long-range precise missile strike in Odessa port area, officers, foreign officers, and officers of the Kyiv regime's forces were neutralized. No specifics. These foreign officers were from which country, but because on the southern sectors, usually it's a British intelligence and army's officers that are quite active and overseeing basically all the operations that are conducted formally by Kyiv regime. Possibly this was British officers that were neutralized during that strike in Odessa. RIA Novosti is also reporting that Zelensky will present his victory plan, his so-called victory plan, to Ukrainian so-called MPs on Wednesday this week, on 16th of October. Well, let's see what that victory plan looks like. RIA Novosti, although their friends, many independent commentators in alternative media already had enough laugh on Zelensky and his these sick ideas, peace formula, victory plan, and rest of the garbage and the nonsense. So therefore, maybe many people wouldn't even pay any attention to this event that will take place in Ukraine's so-called parliament on Wednesday. Anyways, the next headline from RIA Novosti that basically highlights statements of the well-known, especially for a community in alternative media, British expert Alexander Mercouris, host of Duran Show, of course, and his own personal channel. RIA Novosti pay attention to recent statements of the Alexander Mercouris during the on Duran, and of course I will share additional information during the final update on my Patreon page. Although I wanted to share with you this information just to highlight that Russian media definitely pays attention to independent experts worldwide, including to the experts that we all see as voices of reason from the West, right? And Alexander Mercouris is definitely, and Alex Christoforou, by the way, both hosts of the Duran Show are obviously voices of reason. RIA Novosti, RT is also reporting that according to ex-NATO high-ranking official, Ukraine's battlefield situation is critical. In final update, I'll share with you details why this former high-ranking official thinks that way. RIA Novosti, although none of us are surprised, obviously, RIA Novosti is reporting that Germany's defense ministry is refusing to comment about information that was published in Western media and also in Russian media that Germany believes in story of the Kyiv regime and the in success of Kyiv regime's offensive operations or offensive capabilities, and therefore, according to this news that was published in the West initially, including on in the Bild tabloid, Berlin no longer plans to send to Kyiv regime any additional Leopard 2 tanks, infantry fighting vehicles, howitzers, and some other heavy equipment. So Bundeswehr is refusing to comment on that. Also, RIA Novosti is reporting that Poland is considering to further strengthen its border areas with Russia due to expectations of their attack from the east. So yes, Polish so-called elites are going crazy, and so-called military leaders, and are spending taxpayers' money, God knows on what. Also today there was a report that a Polish military leadership is considering to create huge minefields in the borderline areas of Poland in the east, which definitely not gonna go down well among local residents, especially farmers, because they're gonna start losing livestock, by the way, on those minefields. RT is reporting that the US is ready for talks on nuclear threats, according to statements from Biden, formerly leader of the US. Although we have response from former Russian president and current deputy chairman of the Security Council, Dmitry Medvedev, on that, when he said that negotiations with the US about strategical nuclear weapons right now is would be somewhat similar of if negotiations would take place with the master man in 1945. So it clearly does not make any sense, at least for Moscow, and I guess for any other nuclear country, really, because everybody understands that whatever agreement you might reach with the Western ruling class right now, they will break that agreement in very first convenient opportunity for them. So, I mean, trust is the issue. Trust is the issue and will be issue for decades to come, I guess. Interfax is reporting that the Russian defense minister visited China today with official visitor. Important, I guess, development there. Also, Vzгляд newspaper is reporting that world famous Western singer, leader of the 32nd to Mars, Jared Leto. He's also actor, isn't it? So this person is under attack now, under heavy criticism of the foreign ministry of Ukraine, and also from all sorts of this Russophobe mob in the West and from Ukraine or from Kyiv-controlled territory. And this attack is due to decision of the Jared Leto to visit Russia, Ukraine, and Russia. And he's not having a good time right now if he is reading all the comments and messages that he is receiving from this Russophobe crowd. That's what happens, by the way, when you enhance all sorts of crazies, all sorts of Nazis, and that kind of crowd. They are beginning to think that they are entitled to dictate what to do and when to do to everybody. And Jared Leto is experiencing that firsthand right now. Although he is not alone, there are many other people, including celebrities in the West, that end up in a quite similar situation. I remember now that relatively recently, Adele, a famous British, isn't it, British singer, also was a target of this Russophobic crowd, and then many others. TASS News Agency is reporting that for a third day in a row, IDF is not attacking Beirut. And just imagine how crazy situation is in the Middle East, that because IDF is not attacking Beirut, that itself is a news now. Although IDF, Israeli Air Force, and artillery and ground forces are continuing to conduct strikes all around the Lebanon, especially in the southern regions of the Lebanon. And on my Telegram channel, just about like an hour ago, maybe a little more, I shared this video of devastation after yet another Israeli strike in one of the villages in the southern Lebanon. That was, I believe. And as a result of that strike, 18 civilians were killed, and, uh, and number of civilians were wounded. RT is reporting that Taiwan convenes a security meeting aimed Beijing's blockade drills. I spoke about these Chinese military exercises this morning, and Taipei is reacting on that. Details, of course, in final update on my Patreon. RT is also reporting that Pyongyang is preparing to blow up roads that are connecting North Korea with South Korea. This information originally were generated in Seoul, in capital of South Korea. Kommersant newspaper is sharing with the public article that according to Bloomberg, uh, as a result of first 3 quarters of this year, Germany's economy is in a recession. Not surprising news, really, but very unfortunate for ordinary people like us that are citizens of Germany. That's the results of crazy policies of Scholz and his government. Interfax is reporting that, according to Fitch ratings, forecast for France's economy was changed by this very agency from stable to negative, which is also not really surprising news, but quite unfortunate for citizens of France and French economy, because this change in forecast clearly indicates that most likely French economy is also in recession or on the verge of recession. RIA Novosti is reporting that Sri Lanka, also known as Ceylon, island nation not far away from India, is planning to join BRICS, and subsequent application will be given to BRICS during the upcoming Kazan summit. Also, RIA Novosti's report that according to Russia's Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin, BRICS share in world GDP for 2028 will reach 8%, while share of the G7 countries' GDP will further shrink, and BRICS members' GDP is already bigger than G7 countries, and this gap will only widen from now on, I guess. Also, RT is reporting that majority of the Russians believe a country has too many migrants, according to a poll. Well, interesting news. Details, of course, in final update. Interesting news, but not really surprising to me personally, and to, I guess, majority of the citizens of Russia and residents of Russia. RIA Novosti is reporting that Russian central bank may increase interest rates once again during the nearest meeting, which is also not that surprising news, but it is what it is. To cool down economy a little bit, Russian economical bloc of Russian government and also central bank are trying their best, really. RT is reporting that Kremlin pours cold water on a proposed tax on childlessness. Measure has been widely debated by Russian MPs aimed efforts to boost their birth rate in the country. So yes, there are quite interesting personalities in every parliament worldwide, isn't it? Quite exotic ones. And Russia is no exception. There are quite exotic people in Russian parliament also, and some of them were actually considering to tax childless people, which is I really struggle to wrap my head around this idea. I can understand that yes, you want to boost their birth rate and you want to encourage people to have more kids, but this is very important decision, isn't it? And to tax people for not having kids. I mean, people usually families don't have more kids uh, due to some financial issues because it's a huge responsibility, isn't it? You have to provide, you have to make sure that you are in a position to have more kids, right? And while people are in a position that they due to some financial or material concerns are not making such a very important decision to have a kids. You want to tax them and make their financial situation even worse. I mean, what the hell, man? As I said, there are quite a strange people all around the world in the parliaments, and even Kremlin had to get involved in this whole discussion. And as headline says, Kremlin pours cold water on this proposal, or people that had this idea. Of course, details in final update. Vzglyad newspaper is reporting with the headline that is Spanish scientists told Columbus Sephard Jew. There are still discussions about Columbus, who he was, from where, and so on. And DNA test was conducted, and according to this information on that topic, well, he was a Sephard Jew. Um, okay, interesting, interesting. Interfax is reporting. Although, dear friends, me personally, I never cared about religion or ethnicity of Columbus. Why should I? Um, Anyways, let's continue. Interfax is reporting that, well, descent to the air of the Crew Dragon, SpaceX's Crew Dragon spacecraft with the three US astronauts and one Russian cosmonaut was postponed once again. And reasoning yet again is bad weather conditions on Earth. Um, well, lately there are constant issues, isn't it, with this issue of descent on the planet from the International Space Station. Recently, there were some issues with the Boeing spacecraft. Now, Crew Dragon cannot descend, and the reasoning third time is weather conditions. Although I don't know, who knows. But when it comes to SpaceX, they clearly have a much more successful story, which is that Super Heavy's booster was catch first time by specially built platform. Many members of our community, I think, watched that fascinating video, huge success. Some unique stuff is being done by SpaceX for sure, and congratulations to all team of this company. Well, they are doing something extraordinary for sure, and leading the charge when it comes to reusable rockets, right? RT is also reporting that, well, evidences of alien life to be revealed imminently. NASA linked director says so signs of non-human intelligence in our galaxy have been discovered and the proof will be made public within a month. British filmmaker Simon Holland, who has some connections with the NASA or NASA, how say NASA, isn't it, has claimed once again details in final update. As you can see, dear friends, these final updates on my Patreon and Boosty pages are packed with the news, and I really hope this program headlines will help me to boost interest among our bigger community towards my Patreon and Boosty pages where I'm publishing these final updates. Um, and well, I mean, if you want to, have access to more news, you're more than welcome to join our communities on Patreon and Boosty. Uh, on Patreon, monthly subscription starts from $5. On Boosty, from $6. It always depends on an exchange rate. And links are under this video in description box and in the pinned comment. And dear friends, if you want to support my work and my channels, you can also do it through donations, obviously. Uh, you can use PayPal for that, or very same Boosty platform, or crypto, by the way. I have a crypto wallet also. Although very, very rarely I have donations there, but still, the crypto wallet is there. So yes, this is it. This is it for this relatively short update. I hope you will find this video interesting, informative, useful, maybe entertaining also. That will be great. And if so, click that like button and leave some comment just about anything. My first two videos was crashed once again by YouTube's algorithm. I guess very few members of our community receive notification or see my videos, my updates on YouTube in a recommendation. But I mean, what you gonna do? This is this is how YouTube is operating. That's what with what you are dealing with when your channel is in shadow ban. So it is what it is. And your friends, if it don't makes a huge difference for you, if you can please watch my updates on Rumble, because my channel is not monetized on YouTube and will never be monetized, while on Rumble my channel is monetized. And who knows if one day our community on Rumble will increase significantly and view numbers will increase, or maybe Rumble will play some important role as a financial support for this project. So yes, this is it. This is it for now. Have a great day, and I hope you will consider to join our community on Patreon and Boosty. Take care.